I'm Lisa Snyderman, and this is Conversations on Creating to Heal. And today I'm really thrilled to be speaking with Jody Quine in Vancouver, Canada. She's a recording artist and entertainer, and hers is a story of discovery and inspiration, and also using her music to overcome life's greatest challenges. So welcome, Jody.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
Absolutely, yeah. So talk a little bit about who you are, and maybe if you have a mission or purpose to the kind of songwriting that you do, that would be great.
I am, my name is Jody, and I am a recording artist, mom, wife, creator. I recently have just come up with this inner thought of I'm Jody and I make stuff. And that's basically how it is. I'm a big believer in all of us kind of finding our, not kind of, absolutely finding our truth and our inspiration and our light so we can inspire those around us and raise the vibration of, the entire planet, hopefully. Especially today, I find there's a lot of struggle and strife and emotional challenges and oppression and hate and fear-mongering, not to make that list longer, but I think in today's, in all days, it's important that we find what brings us joy so that we can, feel good and share that instead.
I love that. So spread joy and find ways to combat some of that fear mongering. So let's launch into your story. So what does it mean to have inspiration and discovery? And, everybody goes through different events, whether they're hardships or illness or something else that transforms them. What kinds of events transformed you?
Yes, well, after having children, I was born into this dream. I have this dream, this goal of entertaining people, of singing for the world, and then I had children, and the reality and the ability to make those things happen just changed so dramatically. And my inner compass and my value system very much had me prioritizing my children, of course. So it was a big struggle in my relationship too with my husband, and he had to be where we live. If I put the kids in daycare, I'd basically bring home $50 a month for what I get paid because it's so expensive where we live. So we decided that one income, so I could focus on raising the children ourselves instead of making $50 and having someone else do it, made sense for us. So it was a lot of pressure on him too to make all the money for us. So me wanting to make music, which is not cheap, was also a challenge. And even though I was often, or if not always, crowdfunding and finding ways to pay for this need I have to create, it was still a challenge. So I decided that I would try and stop. And that's when I discovered that I couldn't. I started having really dark thoughts. What's the point? Why am I here? Who am I? Maybe I should just jump off a bridge. Not that I ever got to a really, really dark place, but those were the thoughts that were going through my head. And that's when I realized that this is just who I am. You can't take it from me. It is me. So it was, I went through a depression during that time. And I remember consciously deciding that I would, since I was down to ground zero, I felt empty, nothing. That I would only choose to move forward based on things that brought me a sense of joy. And I know this should be my children. I know this should be, hopefully the man that I'm in love with. I know this should be certain things. But I decided I wasn't going to do anything because I should. And it was 3 days of just silent, going through my daily activity, not connecting to anything, and just feeling so alone, but still meeting my responsibilities. And I was sitting in the playground picking up kids from school, and my daughter was in grade 1 at the time, and she ran towards me with a big smile on her face, and I just felt myself light up. And so I just had this moment of, oh, thank God it's my children.
Yeah.
Oh, yay, I love something. Something is bringing me joy. And from that moment forward, and this was 4 years ago, it was that simple. I need to be able to create, make music. And if it wasn't about taking care of my children and therefore my family, it didn't matter. So unless it fell under those two, I didn't get my energy and didn't get my time. And from there, I started rebuilding my sense of self and my ability to interact with people, leave the house
Yeah.
for fun, not
Right.
just because I had to pick kids up or, get groceries or whatever it was. But
I think that's really mindful of you to be able to choose first. It's your choice. It sounds very empowering, because that's about what you're choosing, not what somebody's imposing on you. And
spiritual. I've been a spiritual, I guess, leader. I feel like I was posting daily affirmations to people all the time called Shine Your Light. And so I was like, this is this is the advice I would give someone struggling. So I have to take it.
that's, yes. Yeah.
And that's a lot of faith to just say, I'm going to see what brings me joy, instead of saying, well, I have to take care. I mean, of course I take care of my children, but I have to take care of my children first. It was like, oh, you know what? That's the thing. That's the thing.
So when you were going through all of this, both the difficulties and the depression and that darkness, and then also coming back out, were you turning to that music to also help you process? In other words, did some of your journey get translated into what you wrote?
I would say absolutely. My my most recent record, many of those songs are just so truthful from my heart. I also realized that, so often when we're listening to music, and we're re-singing hooks and lyrics and things in our head, it's like, I want to get me some of that, or like, money, money, money. And it's just, I really wanted to write songs that when people were singing them, or they were running through their head, that they were self-empowering or thoughtful, or somehow, a guiding hand or a friend for people who are struggling. And so the songs, they're seductive to, I wrote a song in my quietest moment during that, when it was totally empty. I sat at the piano, and this one song came out called Go On. And I think that was such a gift from that time. And that song, I still will put on if I need to. And I share it every year during Mental Health Awareness Month, or, Purple Shirt Day we have here in Canada for suicide awareness.
How does that healing happen for you? So obviously healing could take so many forms. You're talking about spiritual transformations, physical, and you can feel it in your body, something else. And that happens sometimes both in the creating and in the sharing. When you get notes or feedback from others who hear it and then tell you how it's impacted them. So for you, how are you experiencing that healing?
To be honest with you, I've gone through another depression this last summer. Turns out I'm someone who has depression. I thought it was just, someone who, has been depressed, but it seems that I've been pulling back the layers to find out that which I have ignored or just piled my life on top of. I don't need to worry about that. So maybe it's a luxurious choice to be able to say, I'm going to take a look at why I don't want to get out of bed, or why I'm just so sad. So having spent this last summer as well going through some depression, the music and the honesty, I just find that being able to communicate, I've been open with people in my life these last few months, saying, I'm going through depression. And being able to say that instead of feeling like I can't, is such a huge difference. And so also being able to sing and put this truth into words is just, it's extremely healing. Whether or not you can sing, or whether or not you can write a song, just being able to communicate what's going on inside. And definitely art is the best expression of emotions that we have, especially if you can't quite put together what it is that's bothering you. So it's been really a wonderful gift, and I am so blessed and thankful to be a creator.
I so resonate with that. I hear you and I echo that. And then what about just quickly the impact from your music? I'm sure that people have shared how you're helping them through their struggles.
I get some pretty amazing fan mail, and for that one song, Go On, I did shoot a music video for it, and it's pretty moving. not that we're talking about reviews or write-ups or whatever, but one of the head music editor of a local newspaper wrote about how powerful it was and said it was the most powerful video he'd seen that year. And it's just really just me singing the emotional journey of facing and finding light. So, and then from there, just people do get to see it and hear it, and the messages go on.
So I'm going to invite you to share a piece of music, and it may be, more of what you shared about Go On. It might be something else, but share something that has particular meaning for you.
Well, I've written a song called Stand Up, and the lyrics are: stand up to be counted, stand up for your rights, stand up and face your truth, because your freedom waits on the other side. And that one was inspired by a friend going through struggling in her marriage and not feeling supported or cared for by her partner, it was not a good match. And then just also being an advocate for many years for the LGBTQ community, just the oppression that so many people face by just not being able to be themselves, and the fear and hate that can be attached to other people's ignorance. So Stand Up is a song I wrote that's an empowering anthem of, facing your truth.
It's gonna get tough, I know you can face it. It's gonna hurt, I know you can make it. It's gonna get bad, so it gets better. But your freedom waits on the other side. You gotta stand up to be counted. Stand up for your rights. Stand up and face your truth, 'cause your freedom waits on the other side.
I love it. Thank you, for writing it, creating it, and for giving others a voice. I think that's great. So before we go, I'm sure that on your journey, you might have picked up some life lessons. Is there anything that you might want to share for somebody going through something similar, whether it's depression, other hardship, adversity?
I think that our number one job here is to find what brings us joy, and not from an empty sense of ringing the sugar bell, but truly from a nurturing sense of what it is that will inspire and guide you. And in doing so, you will find your potential and you will inspire others to do the same. So the best we can do for each other is to just take care of ourselves truly at the deepest level.
I love it. So it's self-care, self-love, and find your joy.
Absolutely. Well said.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Jody, for coming on to Conversations on Creating to Heal.
Thanks for having me. Thank you so much. Thanks for listening.